Here's a number that should make every HR department uncomfortable. In 2024, 1 in 5 Gen Z workers, people under 27, were unable to find steady employment. Not because they weren't trying, not because they lacked ambition, but because the system they were promised would work doesn't work for them anymore. I'm going to tell you exactly why that is. And more importantly, I'm going to show you what the people who are getting hired are doing differently, because there is a playbook, and most people don't know it exists. If you're applying for jobs and hearing nothing back, this video is for you. Stay until the end, because the last thing I cover is the most important, and almost nobody talks about it. Let's start with the real picture, not the headlines, the actual mechanics of what's going wrong. Gen Z entered college just as the world went remote. That means 2, sometimes 3 years of education happened through a screen. No in-person collaboration, no hallway conversations, no navigating an office, a team, or a difficult manager. The soft skills that previous generations absorbed almost by accident, how to read a room, how to handle conflict, how to communicate professionally. A lot of Gen Z simply didn't get the chance to develop those the same way. And now they're sitting across from hiring managers who expect those skills to already be there. That's not a character flaw, it's a structural failure. But it is a real barrier. And pretending it isn't won't help you get hired. Here's the cruel irony of the current job market. Entry-level roles used to be where you learned the ropes. You do the basic tasks, data entry, scheduling, first drafts, research, and in doing them, you'd build skills, relationships, and a track record that got you promoted. AI is now doing a significant portion of that work. Companies are hiring fewer entry-level employees because they need fewer of them. The jobs still exist, but there are far fewer of them, and far more applicants competing for each one. A 2024 report found that entry-level job postings fell by over 35% in some sectors compared to 2021. Meanwhile, the number of recent graduates entering the market has never been higher. Companies have spent the last 5 years loudly announcing that they're moving to skills-first hiring. IBM, Google, Delta, Accenture, the list goes on. They dropped the degree requirement, they published the press releases, they got the coverage. And then, most of their HR teams kept filtering for degrees anyway, not out of malice, out of habit, volume, and the fact that when you have 400 applications for one role, you need a quick filter. And a degree is an easy one. So here's where we are. A generation that did everything right, in a system that moved the goalposts, competing for fewer jobs, filtered out by automated systems, before a human ever sees their application. That's the bad news. Now here's why none of it is fatal, and what you actually do about it. The instinct most people have when the job market gets harder is to apply more. Send more applications, broaden the search, hit easy apply 100 times and wait. That is the worst thing you can do. And here's why. The average corporate job posting attracts between 200 and 500 applications. Large companies use ATS, applicant tracking systems, to filter those down before a human sees a single one. If your resume doesn't have the right keywords in the right places, you're eliminated automatically. Not by a person, by software. And if you do make it past the ATS, you're now one of 8 people being interviewed for one seat. At that point, your resume is almost irrelevant. What matters is whether you can demonstrate, in the room, that you can do the job. The problem is that most candidates with no experience walk into that room with nothing but credentials and hope. The people who are getting hired, especially without a deep work history, are doing something completely different. They're not applying more. They're applying smarter, with something most other candidates don't have: proof. I call this the proof stack system, and it has 4 steps. Walk me through it. Before you write a single word of your application, read the job posting like it's a client brief. What are the 3 problems this company is trying to solve by hiring for this role? What language are they using to describe success? What did they mention twice? Because what they say twice is what they actually care about. Take those keywords. Build your entire application around solving those specific problems. Not your skills in general, their specific problems. This is the step most people skip, and it's the one that changes everything. A proof artifact is a concrete piece of work you create to demonstrate you can do the job, before you're hired. It could be a competitive analysis of their market, a content strategy for their social channels, a redesigned landing page mock-up, a short video audit, a 5-slide deck proposing a campaign. It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be real. When you walk into an interview or send a cold email to a hiring manager with a physical piece of work, you have separated yourself from every other candidate who only brought a resume. The traditional path is apply online, wait, maybe get a call back. The proof stack path is different. You research the company, you find the actual hiring manager or team lead on LinkedIn. You send a short, direct message, not begging for a job, but delivering value. Something like, that's it. No resume attached. No, I'm looking for opportunities. You're not asking for anything. You're delivering something. This gets responses at a rate that blows up your standard application. Because you're not a candidate yet. You're a peer who did their homework. This is where the proof artifact does its second job. In the interview, you reference the work you already created. You ask questions about their actual challenges. You propose ideas. You treat the interview as a working session, not a performance review. The shift is psychological, but the impact is real. Hiring managers remember candidates who made them think. Nobody remembers the person who gave a perfect answer to, "What's your greatest weakness?" Let's talk about AI specifically, because it's the thing everyone is afraid of, and it's also the most powerful tool available to you right now. Yes, AI is automating tasks that used to be done by entry-level employees. That's real, and it's accelerating. But here's what's also true. Most professionals above the age of 35 are deeply uncomfortable using AI tools in their day-to-day work. They know they should, they don't know how. That gap is your opportunity. If you can walk into an interview and demonstrate that you use AI to do the work of 3 people, research, first drafts, analysis, ideation, you are not a liability. You are a force multiplier, and companies know it. Learn to use AI to tailor your resume to each job posting in under 10 minutes. Use it to prep for interviews by generating likely questions and stress testing your answers. Use it to build your proof artifacts faster. Use it to research companies deeper than any candidate who's just reading the About page. This is the single biggest skills gap between the people getting hired and the people getting rejected right now. And it's one you can close for free, starting tonight. Look, the job market is genuinely harder than it was 5 years ago. That's not a mindset problem, that's real. And it's okay to acknowledge that it's unfair. But unfair and unwinnable are different things. The companies that are hiring, and they are hiring, are looking for people who can demonstrate value before they're paid to deliver it. People who understand the tools that are reshaping work. People who show up with proof, not just promise. That is something you can control, right now. Here's what I want you to do this week. Pick one company you want to work for. Go to their LinkedIn. Find one real problem they have. A product they haven't marketed well, a content gap, a process that looks inefficient based on their public info. Build one proof artifact around solving it. And deliver it to a human, not a portal. That's it. That's the whole game. If you want the full proof stack system, all 4 steps, with templates and real examples, I've got a complete walkthrough linked in the description. That video will take you from zero to an artifact ready to send by the end of the day. And if this video helped you see the market differently, hit subscribe. Every Tuesday, one new tactic. No fluff, no motivation speeches, just the actual mechanics of getting hired without a perfect resume. I'll see you next Tuesday.